The USS Abraham Lincoln has been hit. Say that again. For the first time in the modern era, an American nuclear aircraft carrier, the centerpiece of U.S. military power, has allegedly been struck in combat. For decades, the carrier was considered untouchable, the ultimate symbol of American deterrence. A floating fortress that no adversary had successfully challenged since World War II. But now, according to Iranian claims, missiles and drones have done something no enemy has accomplished in over 70 years. And the question shaking military planners around the world tonight is simple. What happens when the carrier gets hit? Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through what we actually know, what's still disputed, and why this moment, whether the strike succeeded or not, changes everything about how we think about naval power. Let's start with what a carrier actually represents. To understand why this alleged strike matters so much, you first have to understand what an aircraft carrier actually represents. It's not just a warship, it's a floating military base. A Nimitz-class carrier like the USS Abraham Lincoln displaces nearly 100,000 tons of steel. Its flight deck covers 4.5 acres. It carries roughly 5,000 sailors, pilots, and aircrew. But a carrier never sails alone. It moves as the centerpiece of a carrier strike group. Escort destroyers and cruisers carry interceptor missiles. Submarines patrol beneath the surface. Supply ships keep everything fueled and armed. This formation can launch fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, and strike missions anywhere in the world's oceans without relying on a single foreign airfield. Today, the United States operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, more than the rest of the world's navies combined. These ships allow Washington to respond to crises rapidly, support allies, and maintain constant presence in key strategic regions. Where a carrier sails, American influence follows. But their importance isn't purely military. Aircraft carriers also serve as symbols of security guarantees. For allied nations, the arrival of a U.S. carrier strike group represents a visible commitment that the United States is prepared to defend its partners. This is why the credibility of deterrence is closely tied to the perception that these ships are nearly impossible to defeat. If that perception begins to weaken, the consequences extend far beyond a single battle. So what actually happened? On March 12, 2026, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy announced that its forces had carried out a precision operation targeting the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Sea of Oman. According to the Iranian military's central headquarters, advanced ballistic missiles and suicide drones launched from Iranian territory struck the carrier approximately 340 kilometers from Iran's maritime borders. Iranian state television reported that the attack caused fires and significant structural damage to the American vessel. They claimed the carrier strike group was seen fleeing the area at high speed. The IRGC framed this as a strategic success, proof that their missile and drone systems could penetrate the most sophisticated naval defenses in the world. But within hours, Washington pushed back. The United States Central Command, CENTCOM, released photographs of the USS Abraham Lincoln operating at sea and stated unequivocally that the carrier strike group remains fully operational and continues to support Operation Epic Fury. U.S. officials told media outlets that Iranian missiles fired toward American assets in the region didn't even come close to the carrier. One official told Al Jazeera that the missiles caused no damage and the ship continued normal operations. Here's where it gets complicated. U.S. media reports indicated that tensions escalated after an Iranian vessel allegedly sailed too close to the strike group. American forces reportedly fired warning shots at the approaching vessel. It remains unclear whether this encounter triggered Iran's claim of a successful strike or whether any missile attack actually occurred. What we have is a classic information war scenario. Two sides presenting completely contradictory narratives. Now, let's talk about the weapon, because regardless of whether this specific strike succeeded, the threat Iran describes is real and growing. According to the IRGC, the attack was not a single missile launch. It was a coordinated assault designed to overwhelm the carrier's defenses. In military doctrine, this is called a saturation attack. The idea is simple but terrifying. You present so many different threats at once that defensive systems become overloaded. Ballistic missiles approach at extreme speed from high altitude. Drones fly low beneath radar coverage. Cruise missiles come from multiple directions. Even the most sophisticated defenses can struggle under that pressure. Modern carrier strike groups rely on multiple layers of protection. Long-range radar systems scan hundreds of kilometers of airspace. Escort ships carry standard missile interceptors. Fighter jets patrol the skies above the fleet. And at the final line of defense, close-in weapon systems, rapid-fire cannons and short-range missiles are designed to destroy incoming targets just seconds before impact. For decades, this multi-layered system reinforced the belief that a carrier was effectively invulnerable in combat. But saturation attacks exploit a critical weakness. When defensive systems are forced to track and engage multiple threats simultaneously, small gaps can appear between layers of protection, and those gaps can be exploited. The Soviet Union spent decades developing this doctrine. Today, Iran and other powers are testing it in real combat conditions.